Hey, what's going on? This is Ron with MenchacaChannel. Inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. In this video, we're going to be talking about toxic relationships. Now, I don't know if you're suffering from a toxic relationship, or you may not even know because you may be toxic. Hey, I want you to watch this episode, this video, because we're going to point that right out. And I'm ready. You're ready, so let's do this thing. All right, toxic relationships. Can I just tell you that the people you decide to have in your inner circle, in your circle of influence, they are going to determine the perspectives that you have in your life, and the wrong people in your life will distract, they'll disrupt, and they'll break your focus, as well as interrupt your mission and your purpose in life. I just want you to understand how severe it is that we understand that toxic people has got to go in your life. Now, if we're honest, and I'm talking about real honest, all of us, I bet you can name people in your life that are constantly negative, they're critical, and always griping about something in their life. Man, I know you got them, because I got them in my life too. You know what I'm talking about when you start that conversation with them, and somewhere down the line in that conversation, you come out feeling worse than when you began. You know I ain't lying. Man, how many would say that this is true, and I'm hitting the nail on the head? Well, today we're talking about toxic relationships in our lives and how to deal with them. But we got to understand what the word toxic means. So if you research that, you're going to find out that toxic means anything causing poisonous material or containing poisonous material capable of causing sickness or even death. Now, spiritually speaking, people can contain something very dangerous, very poisonous. We know this as sin. And if you have sin in your life, you're capable of causing sickness to yourself or even to the point of spiritual death. I'm guessing this is why the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." Now, it's our very nature to believe that good character can never be corrupt. But this is why Paul says, do not be misled. Now, we know that bad company pollutes, it corrupts, it poisons, and it destroys anything that you're doing in your life. That's why you need to segregate yourself and find people who are interested in helping you instead of misleading you. Now, you don't have to be a genius to understand that if you hang around toxic people, you too will become toxic, and that good character is going to be corrupt. There's even a saying back in the day that says, "Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are." Now, let me give you 3 common types of toxic companies. Number 1 is the chronically negative. I don't know if you have those in your life, but if you do, watch out. These are the people who drag you down. They're judgmental, they're critical, they're gossiping all the time, they're complaining, and nothing is ever good for them. Hey, buddy, I love the fact that you got that raise. Yeah, it was just 2%, man. It could have been a lot more. Dude, you got a raise. That's better than what happened to me. Hey, I appreciate, man, that you got you a brand new car, man. That's awesome. I saw it in the parking lot when we got to work, man. Yeah, I was going for a truck, man, but they gave me a car instead, man. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not, man. I will find out. Really? You can get to work, man. You can get back here, man. A car will bring you from A to B. Man, I just don't even know. Chronically negative people. Even in the Bible, there's people that are just toxic and chronically negative. They got this attitude like when God tried to liberate the children of Israel, the people of Israel, and took them on a journey to the promised land. Do you know the whole journey was just toxic because they were just chronically negative? And it didn't matter what God did and what miracle signs and wonders he did. They always had something negative to say about it. At one time, they even wanted to come across and to say, you know what? It's better that we go back into slavery. At least they fed us. At least they did this and that. I mean, really? The second toxic company you want to avoid. First, it was the chronic complainers. Number 2 is the controller. Now, what's this all about? The controller? Yeah, those are those people that are overbearing, demanding, manipulative, sometimes abusive, and can use fear to intimidate you. The controller will always guilt you into things and then make you feel like you have to do that thing or they'll be upset with you or they'll be mad at you. Yeah, you're gonna go to the barbecue with me? Say, no, I got this. Are you serious? Are you serious? You're not gonna be able to go? No, man. Why don't you go to the barbecue and then afterwards you're like, okay, I'll go do that, because you don't want them mad at you. No, forget that. They're the controllers. You gotta watch out for that. Oh yeah, they'll intimidate you with fear, and they will always put the relationship on the line. But they'll always hang around. They have to be in control of the situation. So you have the chronic complainer and you got the controller. Well, number 3 is the tempters. Those are a category on their own. Man, these are the guys who always are pushing you to do something that you don't want to do. Nah, I don't want to do that. Come on, man. For real? For real? Come on. You're better than that. You could do that. Let's go out and do that. Or maybe it's a boyfriend who is tempting his girlfriend for sex or something that she doesn't want to do. Every time that when you're with this type of person, the tempter, can I just say that you always get sucked into something that they want you to do. In all relationships, man, our goal is to bring life to that person. And the same thing with them. They're supposed to bring life to us. And we're supposed to live a balanced, healthy relationship. That's the whole point of doing this. Now, if you care for that person that is toxic, man, you're going to do the effort to help them out. We don't go around saying, oh, you're toxic and run away. No, that could be a beautiful relationship and they just went down a dark path. Now, we ourselves must remain spiritually healthy, or we can't help anybody around us. That's just the way things are. Imagine that you're in an airplane, right? And they come over the speakers and they say the cabin pressure has fallen, it's dropped. Oxygen mask will begin to fall. And once they fall, man, before you can help anyone else, including children, you must first put that mask on yourself. That's the rule. That's what they tell you. Why do they tell you that? Because as much as a parent or a loved one you want to help out, or a child who can't get their mask on themselves, you have to place yours first. Because if you can't help yourself, you're gonna pass out before you can even help anybody else. You get what I'm saying? So in relationships, you must stay strong and healthy to make a difference. So how do we begin to avoid toxic relationships in our lives? Well, let me give you some kingdom principles. Yeah, we do inspiration, motivation. We also do biblical kingdom principles. And if you're taking notes, man, I'm telling you, this is a big one. Number 1 is set healthy boundaries. So what does boundaries do? They keep the bad out and keep the good in. It's an amazing thing that even Jesus loved everyone equally, but he didn't treat everyone equally. Now, if you think about it, Jesus recruited 12 disciples, not 200. And when it came to even those 12 disciples, he separated himself and went to a mountain and fasted for 40 days, 40 nights at times. You know, think about how Jesus would handle even the Pharisees, the religious hypocrites. They had boundaries all the time. He did his best with their toxicity. Let me just put it to you that way. Jesus even had boundaries with his closest friends whenever they wanted to take him out, or take him away from doing the right thing that God has sent Jesus to do. And I can remember one in particular, man. His name is Peter. Now, Peter is the most on fire for Jesus guy you will ever find in the Bible, right? He walked with them, he talked with them and all that. He wanted to defend them. But when Jesus came to them and said, look, the Son of Man will suffer much. All right, I'm going to go through this tragedy and all that. It was Peter that stood up and said, no one's killing you. No one's arresting you. Not while I'm around. And Jesus has a set of boundary up with Peter. In Matthew 16:23, Jesus turned and said to Peter, get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block. You're a stumbling block to me. You don't know what I have in mind and the things that God has in mind. But you think of like men. You think like men and not like God. And so you're trying to prevent something that I need to do. Toxic relationships will break your focus and the calling that God has on your life, the gifting God has. All it does is delay your progress. So begin to set healthy boundaries in your life with your friends and your family and all that. Why? Because it helps you protect what you've gained in God. And let me just say this, just because you're setting healthy boundaries in your life, it doesn't mean that you're a jerk. It doesn't mean that you're just flat out mean. No, you're protecting your good character. You'd probably be shocked with how God honors those who set boundaries. Number 2 is that you have to cut off toxic relationships. Now, this doesn't give you the license to get a divorce if you're married and you think that you're with a toxic person. Let me just clarify that right now. No, if you are in the midst of sin or you have sickness, guess what? You go to the doctor, you go to counselors, pastors, your small groups advisor, and you work that thing out in your life. It's not a marriage issue that we're talking about. It's more deep than that. And so you have to find the right person to talk to, the mentor to guide you. So begin cutting off toxic relationships. Surround yourself by people who lift you up and add value to your life. It's important that we do that. If you want the fullness of your life, if you want to gain everything that you need in life, you're going to have to get away toxic people. Get away from them. You got to cut them off. Even if you want the fullness of God in your life, you need to address those toxic relationships. It's gonna help you in the long run. I'm telling you, you got to set healthy boundaries and be strong enough to cut off those toxic relationships. And even the fathers who don't want your kids to grow up in toxic relationships, you know what you need to do? Family member, you know what you need to do? You need to get engaged with them. You need to give them, mentor them in their lives so they'll know what to look at. Man, if all else fails, tell them to watch MenchacaChannel. We're here for you. Now, maybe you're the one that maybe you're saying to yourself, maybe I'm the toxic one. What can I do, Ron? What can I do about that? Well, you have to understand that you're toxic to begin with, but you have help around you. If you could just begin to listen to the people that are talking around you, they're able to point things out. And you have to have that teachable spirit because all of us have baggage. All of us bring a certain level of pollution to toxic relationships and we pollute that. But guess what? We're in a learning process. And if you build relationships with people that matter in your life, it's going to make a total difference. Even Jesus entered a toxic world full of his father's presence, God's presence in his life. And he was able to heal the hurting. He was opening the blind eyes. He was healing the deaf ears. He was doing so much because of the relationship that he had with God Almighty. You need to look at your relationships and analyze them and come to the point that you have to realize, hey, you know what? I need to change some things. And I also need to take care of my family. I need to take care of my life. And I got to remove toxic people out of my way, because it's getting in the way of who God has created me to be. Take inventory of your life. And maybe you're in a toxic storm. Maybe you're in a toxic relation today and you're looking for help. Well, this video right here gave you a lot of things to look forward to and things to watch out for. So you have to take that in consideration and turn that life around, man. Your mess is going to be a message. Your test is going to be a testimony. Man, I'm telling you, that's good stuff. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of MenchacaChannel, where inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell so you can get another episode of MenchacaChannel. And for all of you who are supporting MenchacaChannel through Cash App and Venmo, we appreciate you doing what you do so that we can do what we do. Hey, stay away from those toxic relationships. Until next time.